Hello everyone and welcome back guys to episode 4 of our F1 2020 Let's Make McLaren Great Again series, where today we head to Shanghai. I don't think there's much we need to look at with the team going into this weekend. We probably need to be looking at trying to get either an aero or a chassis upgrade on the car. You can see the engine though, we're making good progress. We've got that one more upgrade that's meant to be coming to the pistons quite soon. So I think, yeah, hopefully this weekend we can try and get one of the rear wing upgrades done, and then we'll basically be matching Ferrari on the aero department. But obviously, if you did miss out on the last video, I would definitely recommend going back and checking it out, obviously, from Vietnam. You know, it was a very interesting race on the whole. And heading to Shanghai today, I'm intrigued to know how we'll fare around this circuit. It seems to be one that could suit our car quite well, but on the other hand, sometimes this series has really thrown up some weird surprises in the early races. Anyway though, let's just dive right into it then. Let's head to Shanghai for qualifying. Based on the little intro there then, it appears that McLaren can't even afford to keep the lights on inside the garage at the moment, but we are here ready for the round 4 of the season here in Shanghai for the qualifying session. Pace feels quite good around here. It does definitely suit the car like I sort of hoped it would, but we made a mistake last time out of Vietnam. We kind of butchered our lap there. Hopefully that won't be the same case here today. It's a very weird track. It's obviously quite easy to learn but difficult to master, which I quite like. So let's see what we can do then. Obviously a lot of corners you've really just got to be committed but also sensible. Turn 1, turn 2 and however many corners it is through here are obviously great examples of that. Straight off the bat, try to roll on the power nicely off the exit. Really got to utilise the track space as well. Is always critical. Oh, a bit of a snag break there, not what we wanted. Just braking a little bit too late. Hopefully these couple of corners should favour us a bit more. Struggled to get the nose in originally, but it's opened us up a bit of a better run through the second part. Just try and keep it nice and tidy. Don't make any big mistakes is the key. It's really been a sloppy lap so far though. 18th. Holy moly, we need to find a lot of pace. Try and get all the power as early but as smoothly as you can out of here. Hopefully make a couple of places down the back straightaway. See just slowly our position. Well, it was climbing for a second, but we've dropped back down to 15th place. Hopefully we can find a little bit more. This has not been a good lap, and I don't really know why, in all honesty. Through the hairpin, take a way too much curb. Roll on the power again, nice and tidily. Final corner, what can we do up towards the line? It's going to be, what, P14? 2 seconds off Bottas. That was woeful. I have upped the AI for this one, obviously like I've done in the My Team career mode, but that was slower than I was ever expecting. Holy moly. That was not good.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Bottas, Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
So that seemed, yeah, like a very weird qualifying session in the end. Bottas and Hamilton set absolute bangers, as well as Charles Leclerc there. You can see Verstappen about 5/10 off, and then Lando Norris, suddenly there's a half-second gap back to our teammate who split the Red Bulls. Then you've got Ricciardo ahead of Seb, so that all seems a little bit weird, I'm going to be honest, but not a good qualifying session for ourselves. P14 in the end. The only people we were able to out-qualify were the Alphas, the Haas and the Williams. But it is a wet race, so I have set up the car a little bit more to have some aero. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're not out of this just yet. If we can get some points on the board still, I'll probably take that. Let's jump into it then, ready, here in Shanghai.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. The ever-tightening turns 1 and 2 will prove tricky in the slippery conditions here at Shanghai, and anyone that slides wide will lose a lot of time getting back on track. Turn 14 should still be the best place for overtaking, but we'll have to see some improvement in the weather before the drivers can take advantage of that DRS assistance. It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. And Anthony Davidson, could be a wet one today. Great to have you with us. What are your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? Well, as a driver, there are three big things to worry about when racing in these kind of conditions: standing water, tyre temperature and visibility. Judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres kick up.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Norris, Alexander Albon, and Ricciardo, Vettel, Ocon, Perez, and Daniel Kvyat. Stroll, Gasly, Mr. Monaco, and Verstappen. They've taken a grid penalty. Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Roman Grosjean, and Kevin Magnussen, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
So here we are then, ready for round 4 of the season from a very, very soggy Shanghai. Hopefully it does... Oh, it's saying wet to dry actually, so this one might be quite spicy in the end. I've obviously done a fair few 25% races around China in different series, and most of them have ended up being absolute crackers. So hopefully today is exactly the same. But yeah, hopefully we can try and get the inters to the dry period. However, obviously the one other wet race I've done so far in F1 2020, that didn't quite work out the way I wanted. We really, really did struggle with the tyre wear. So hopefully the McLaren is a bit better on its rubber than our My Team car. But I think we're ready as well ever be. We're up one spot because of Verstappen's penalties, so Lando now starts on the second row of the grid. So hopefully, maybe there's a chance of a podium for our teammate here today. But hopefully we can just try and get more points on the board. You know, we want to be scoring top 10s week in, week out, and trying to challenge the Red Bulls where possible. So let's dive into it then. Let's do this thing. The 5 lights are going to be coming on now then. Here in Shanghai, it's 5 red lights and it's lights out and away we go. Not a very long hold at all. Try and dance. The wheels spin off the start. You can see Verstappen on our inside gets a much better run in towards turn 1. We're going to try and sneak around the outside if possible, but the Alpha Towers and Stroll have formed a bit of a wall through the first corner. You just hear a lot of contact going on around us. Maybe we can sneak up the inside of Kvyat through turn 2. Just a little bit of wheel banging, but you know, it's all friendly love taps in the world of Formula 1 there. At the first couple of corners we have survived the start though. We've held on to a track position. Kvyat, never do that again please buddy, as we'll stick it up the inside of Stroll as well. There we go, up another spot. That could have very easily been front wing gone. That's why I was very much off the racing line into that, because I know what the AI are like for making last second bonsai moves on each other, especially in the wet. But we're up a couple of spots then off the start. Oh, that's some understeer though. Is Kvyat going to try and look at something? No, he can't do anything there. Let's see if we can try and apply some pressure to Kvyat. Sorry, Gasly even. But I think you just need to try and settle down into a rhythm. Out onto the back straightaway. We're making big gains on the Alpha Tower. He's going to go defensive on us. Got really no idea where we want to be breaking into there. I'm going to guess about here as Kvyat... sorry, I don't know why I keep calling him Kvyat. Gasly makes a bit of a mistake. We're going to out-traction him out the final corner and just about slip in front. So we're now up into the points by the end of lap 1. That's been a good little start for ourselves. It's exactly what we needed.
Okay,
AI don't feel as confident in the wet. It's nice now that you can actually at least sometimes be able to out-traction them in a couple of places. So hopefully that's a good sign and we can continue moving forward. Coming towards the end of lap 3 though, tyre wear seems to be non-existent around this circuit at the moment. I've got no idea why we seem to struggle so much with them at Canada in the My Team series, but we're just sort of sat in a good little window at the moment. We're trying to close up on Perez, but the racing point seems quick in the places he needs to be, and then he's a bit slower in the places where he doesn't need to be, which is rather frustrating to have to deal with, I'll be honest, as we make an awful mistake out the final corner.
We're looking at about 10 more minutes of rain. 10 minutes.
So the team then saying 10 more minutes of rain. So about another 5-6 laps. So that seems to match up with what they were saying pre-race. It's then just a case of will it get dry enough towards the end? On to lap 5, purple final sector does fill you with a little bit of extra confidence. Can we potentially think about trying to look up the inside of Perez? Oh, we stick the nose there, but that was always going to get slammed shut in our face. So we're going to have to try and line up a move somewhere else perhaps, but this is definitely the closest I've been to him so far. You've then just got to try and get the traction out of the corners and stick with him. Maybe a bit of a send. Ricciardo style. Ricciardo, I'm sure, would love that.
Good.
Up
Good
into
job.
ninth.
Nice overtake.
Team loving it as well. Pretty much now then at the halfway stage of this race. It's really weird. We seem to be able to close up to cars, as you can see there, rather easily. But trying to get round them is a very, very different story at this stage of the day. Perez, you can see we've built up about a 2-second margin over the racing point. Now we might be able to get a run on Esteban Ocon, saying that. Try and do what we did to Perez. Ocon, mate, you can't move in the braking zone. Somehow, I don't think we picked up any damage from that, but that feels like a bit of a deliberate one.
Aggression. We need clean overtakes or we'll face a penalty.
But of course, that's my fault as well, according to the game. It is definitely, though, when nearing the end, it's very much, obviously, you can tell on the screen how little it's raining now. But we need it to dry up, and then we shall see whether a move to the dries is going to be worth it with sort of 2-3 to go. It could prove pivotal in this Grand Prix. Oh, yellow flag's out. One of the Alfa Romeo seems to be pulling over. Are we going to get a safety car from that? How might that spice up this Grand Prix? Which one is it? I think it's Raikkonen. Is he even going to retire? Or has he just got issues? You never quite know in the world of Formula 1. No, he's definitely retiring. No, it's Giovinazzi and VSC. Not a full safety car.
We need to keep a positive delta here. Slow down, maintain a positive delta.
So that probably won't change up the race too much, but it might even have just that little effect. You never know in Formula 1 of one time without it, you might have been able to pit the end of one lap. Now with the VSC, you might want to pit a lap earlier. You never know. But we're taking some good time out of Seb, so hopefully once this is over, we can continue attacking. 5 laps to go then.
It's really dry enough yet to start thinking about slicks. Let's hold on to the inters for a while longer.
Every time I try to speak on this game, Jeff just likes to butt in with something, but it was useful information in his defence this time round. So the team, obviously at the moment, and quite rightly so, you know, there's still been a lot of spray kicked up from these inters, but it could be that thing where sort of lap 13, maybe you get the call. Whether you go for it then or not is a very, very big question. Shanghai, quite a good track in terms of drainage on F1 games as well. You do seem to be able to make the switch over quite early. But, yeah, we'll wait and see. Oh.
Full course caution.
Oh.
The safety car is out. Keep an eye on the delta. We need to keep it positive to avoid a penalty.
That
Slow
might
down,
spice things up.
maintain positive delta.
Latifi suddenly falls to the wayside in the Grand Prix. So we've now got a full safety car in this Grand Prix. But, will it get dry enough now? And how long is this safety car going to be out for? We're all stuck behind it for some reason. Lando won't go around. He should be allowed to. If it moves out of the way at some point. So the team then have recommended we dive it in now for a set of these soft compounded tyres. So it looks like it's probably going to be, what, a 3-lap sprint to the end of the race. However, top guys aren't pitted in. In fact, very few cars in front of us are pit. It's just Lando, Ricciardo, myself and Seb that have dived it in. So we're double stopping this. Mercedes aren't pitting anyone. This could be a little bit crazy towards the end. Not many cars, only about half the cars so far, are pitting in. So it all seems rather weird, I'll be honest. Hopefully we won't get held up too long behind Lando. There we go. Get the car in. Come on. Get on with it. There's critical points on the line here. 4-second stop, get in gear, and we've teleported into an AlphaTauri, but we're back out. I don't think we've lost any places. Yes, we're just ahead of Perez still, but obviously we've got a lot of guys on inters, so it's all now a bit mixed up.
Until the green flags.
Come on, Magnussen, get on with it.
In this lap, return the position immediately, or we will be penalized.
We need to catch up, mate. What are you doing?
During the safety car period.
Magnussen, get on with it! You can see all the top runners are already getting ready to go again. Come on, this is a great chance for some big points for us here, mate. Hurry up. Safety car's coming in end of this lap. I think the top 4 are all trying to get on with it as quickly as possible so they can pit. This might be a good chance for Lando to win here. But at the moment, Magnussen is completely costing us. What is this about, man? His inters obviously aren't working anymore. He needs to get on with it. We're waiting for green flags. Come on! What are you doing? Magnussen, are you seriously taking the mick, mate? I'm not having that. I am not having that. What on earth is going on? Magnussen's just sat here doing nothing. You can see the top guys are getting ready to go green. We're barely onto the back straightaway, so we're going to have to basically just try and get around Magnussen ASAP. Because those guys, you know, we got a brilliant chance to beat these guys in this race. Right, come on Magnussen, get on with it. Top guys are all diving it in. Where's the green flags? Where's the green flags? Come on. Give us green. Give us green. Safety. There we go.
Green flag.
Straight at the inside of Magnussen. Into the final corner. Lando now, I think, is going to inherit the lead of the Grand Prix. We've still got a good chance to make P4 here at the moment, but I'm gutted that Magnussen has cost that for us. Right, can we get ahead of the Mercedes? They're coming down pit road. Are we going to be able to get out in front of Hamilton? There he is, Bottas even. Yes, we have. So I'm at a P4, but Lando is now in the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix with 2 laps to go here. Could we get the miracle result? Could we get a 1-4? Not quite a 1-2, but we'd take it certainly.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
Coming on to the final lap then, Lando's still leading the way. New fast lap of the Grand Prix as well. Whether we'll see anyone behind us go a bit quicker, but we've sort of trying to use Perez as a bit of a shield at the moment from the Mercedes, the Red Bulls, the Ferraris that are behind us. We go purple through the final sector again. We could potentially get fastest lap bonus points here as well. But is Lando going to be able to hold on? He's got Ricciardo just behind him. It would be a historic day for both McLaren and Renault here. Renault's obviously first podium back in the sport. McLaren's first win since 2012 if Lando can hold on to it. I'm gutted it's not going to be us, but I'd rather take a win for either of us than neither. At the end of the day, through the hairpin for the final time. We've still got about a second over over Perez at the moment, but I can't help but feel what could have been had Magnussen not been in the way. But once again, Shanghai has delivered. It appears every single 25% race series I do. This race is crazy. It's brilliant. But out onto the back straight, well, coming towards the back straightaway for the final time. Lando looks to be safe. I don't want to speak too soon, but he's looking good. We make a hash of the entry into the back straightaway. Can we try and get out the power nice and early? A lot of understeer. We're going to have to fend for all our worth there as we're running a bit wide out onto the back straight, but through the final couple of corners. I'm losing my voice over this, but Lando, he's going to come through for the race victory. We've got Mercedes and Racing Points sat all over the back of us. Bottas is going to try and look around the outside. Lando Norris, again, is a Grand Prix winner. He's did it in the My Team series. He's now done it here in the McLaren Road to Glory. It's going to be a 1-4 for McLaren at the end of the day. What a race.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
It's a performance to be proud of from our Chinese Grand Prix winners today. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure. And no doubt they'll be celebrating tonight. So, let's review the driver's standings. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. They did a great job at getting the most out of their tyres without losing pace, something that's a very handy skill to have in modern-day Formula One.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Ferrari continued to extend the gap at the top of the table. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
So there we are then, guys, the end of the Chinese Grand Prix, and it's Lando Norris picking up his first win for McLaren in this series. Our journey to the top, we finished it now. It may as well all be done and dusted. We've now won a Grand Prix there. A very, very historic day for McLaren, their first win in 7.5 years there. Ricciardo getting Renault's first podium since, what, 2008, 2009, if I'm not mistaken. Sebastian Vettel, though, a solid day out for him. He probably, realistically, should have been able to challenge the Renault and the McLaren, but couldn't quite make it work when all is said and done there. We come through from 13th on the grid for 4th to pick up driver of the day, but really Lando probably deserved it. Valtteri Bottas from pole position down to 5th. They're unlucky with the strategy, but he did get around Perez in the final corner of the Grand Prix there. Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Albon and Pierre Gasly rounding out the top 10 there, with Hamilton fastest lap but no points at the end of the day. Further down you can see the rest of the finishers there. Only Magnussen in that Grand Prix held on to his grid position, which just goes to show how crazy that race was at the end of the day there. But championship wise though, it means we're still holding on to 4th place. Lando now is up to 5th, so that is really, really good to see. Bottas is only now 11 points back from Charles Leclerc. There he's actually now tied with Sebastian Vettel. But yeah, Lando jumps past Max, Ricciardo jumps past Albon, Hamilton's still only on 15 points after 4 Grand Prix. It's been a torrid start to the year for the Mercedes man there, and Perez has now jumped past Raikkonen as well there. Gasly gets his first point of the season, jumps past Grosjean and Danny Kvyat there. And in the Constructors, up into P2, we're better than Mercedes and Red Bull as well so far this season. It has been a crazy, crazy first 4 races to this championship, but I desperately want a podium now. That has got to be the next thing in this career mode. But thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy, do make sure you get yourself subscribed. And yeah, we will be back probably over the weekend, ready for round 5 where we head to Zandvoort. You guys do not want to miss it. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.